All ayes. Order, Madam Speaker.
There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer meditation. You may be seated. Thank you so much, honorable members. You seem quite excited for today. Honorable members, can we please note that I've just received now, we now have 6 notices of motions. Sure, this is quite a lot. Earlier there was only 2, actually only the one that was supposed to be there. Now I see everybody. And now I also see that there are 3 member statements on the day that the Premier must reply to the debate. Yeah. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to thank you for yesterday. I think it was quite informative. The fact that all of the members that were allocated on the order paper, all of them took the opportunity to actually speak and to debate in the House. I think at one point, even though I was not here, I could get a sense that even those in the gallery wanted to enter the debate as it is. But I think clearly, yes, we need to look at those issues. Yesterday there was there was a question posed by Honorable Kasim. I will first deal with that matter, where Honorable Kasim was inferring that Honorable MEC Kapa had made hand gestures and whether that was in line with the rules. We have looked at the matter and clearly it does not form part of the rules, hand gestures in that respect. So it is an opportunity, possibly as we are busy with the review of rules, that possibly members really look on those issues to strengthen then the rules if it is an issue. But currently it is not part of the rules in that respect. So I thought let me stop there. And sometimes even when we do this, it's, it's a very jocular intent behind the fact. But clearly, we are on the right track by looking and reviewing our rules, because I think just the experience that you are getting, that there are areas that we need to consistently review and strengthen. And there are also areas within the rules, obviously, that just needs to be expunged by now. It's outdated and conformity thereof. And I think really make use of the opportunity. I know that Honorable Kasim and Honorable Knutze, you can take your discussion outside. You are free to do that, not in the House, and not so that I can hear you speaking. So we dealt with that matter. I had thought that we would have an easy day today, but now let's get to the business of the House and let's then go deal with the issue of the 6 notices of motion. Let me just, sorry, since yesterday I have a scratchy throat. Let's deal with the notices of motion, call out the names so that I have not left anybody out. Honorable Cowley, Honorable Dr. Knutzer, Honorable Kasim, Honorable Tebekana, Honorable Camillo Benjamin, and Honorable Mlokoti. I hope I've captured everybody in. So everybody is there. We will then immediately proceed with the notice of motion from on call upon Honorable Cowley. Honorable Cowley, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and greetings to the House. Honourable Speaker, I rise to give notice of motion in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules of the Legislature. I hereby move in terms of this rule that noting, number 1, that the waiting list for orthopaedic implant surgeries or arthroplasties in November of last year stood at 2,001 at Frere Hospital, 1,300 at Livingston Hospital, and 496 at the Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital Complex. Number 2, that because of non-payment of a range of medical equipment suppliers, surgeons do not have the necessary implants with which to do the surgeries. Number 3, that because many theatres in our tertiary facilities are dysfunctional due to years of electrical faults and broken air conditioning, surgery times are dramatically reduced. Number 4, that the MEC for Health committed in her response to my parliamentary question that in order to address the surgery backlog, surgeries would be decentralised to district and regional hospitals as from December 2004. And 5, that this decentralisation has not yet taken place because the district and regional hospitals are not sufficiently staffed or equipped to do such surgeries. Therefore resolves, 1, that in a first step to addressing the surgery backlog, the complete repair of all damaged, dysfunctional or partly functional theatres be made an apex priority. 2, that debts to reliable suppliers of high quality and cost-effective surgical implants are settled as a matter of urgency so that these are once again available to orthopaedic surgeons. 3, that all regional and district hospitals that have orthopaedic capabilities be assessed to ensure that theatres are functional and that staffing and equipment provision is adequate. 4, that all orthopaedic patients are triaged and surgery lists are drawn up in preparation for multiple surgery marathons. And 5, that a time-bound and fully budgeted plan for said surgery marathons be drawn up by the head of department and submitted to the Health Portfolio Committee within 30 days of this sitting. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Cowley. We will note the notice of motion and it will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. We now hand over to Honourable Dr. Knutzer.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I hereby move in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules of Order of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature that this House notes, firstly, that abalone poaching along the Eastern Cape coastline is rampant, with billions of rands of abalone being stripped from the region, severely damaging our local marine environment and generating even more funds for other criminal enterprises. Secondly, that despite the serious implication of this illegal activity, the shutdown of the Environmental Court, which was at that time located in Hermanus around 2007, that Environmental Court had an 80% conviction rate because it specialized in environmental crimes. But that court was closed, and that further exacerbates the problem of effectively prosecuting environmental crimes. That thirdly, the private security services like dark water ops have been instrumental in recovering over 41 million rands worth of wet abalone in 2024 alone. And that is only from an 18-kilometer stretch of coastline. And we've got 800 kilometers of coastline in the Eastern Cape. The value of poached abalone, only in that stretch, ranged from between 400 and 900 million rand. The poaching syndicates are highly organized, and there's up to 150 poachers in the water at any specific time at the same place, while law enforcement remains under-resourced and outmatched. Fifthly, the absence of a dedicated forum for prosecuting environmental crime, such as an environmental court, is a critical gap in our effort to combat organized poaching syndicates through effective prosecution of these crimes. And the limited enforcement powers that we have of our honorary marine conservation rangers are really stifling effective prevention of abalone poaching in particular. The Democratic Alliance is committed to advocating for a comprehensive anti-poaching strategy, which includes the reinstatement of an environmental court, enhanced monitoring of marine protected areas, our MPAs, the reinstatement of enhanced enforcement powers of our honorary marine conservation rangers, and increased funding for enforcement operations to disrupt criminal syndicates behind these activities. And that the House therefore resolves that the Premier advocates for such an environmental court to be opened right here in the Eastern Cape so that we can effectively prosecute environmental crimes, because we are a province that is heavily affected by environmental crimes. Secondly, that the MEC of Community Safety ensures that there is stronger policing and assistance and support to curb these poaching operations in the Eastern Cape. Thirdly, that the MEC of Environmental Affairs develops a comprehensive anti-poaching strategy for the Eastern Cape. And something that can be done almost immediately is to reinstate those enforcement powers to our honorary marine conservation rangers, and that lastly, that we acknowledge the efforts of private anti-poaching units like Dark Water Ops to encourage further support for these operations to better combat and protect the Eastern Cape's natural resources. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Dr. Knutze. We note the notice of motion as it will be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. We now call upon Honourable Kasim.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I hereby move in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules of this House, noting that on the 31st of January 2025, after 310 days of uninterrupted electricity supply, Eskom implemented Stage 3 load shedding. 2, that on the 22nd of February 2025, following just over 20 days of uninterrupted electricity supply, Eskom implemented Stage 3 load shedding and increased it to Stage 6 on 23rd of February 2025. Further noting, Honourable Speaker, that fasting during the month of Ramadan, a month observed by Muslims for fasting and prayer, will commence on either the 1st or 2nd of March 2025, depending on the sighting of the moon, and that during this period, observers would need to prepare meals during certain times prior to sunrise to start their fast and prior to sunset, after which they will be breaking their fast. And that the times for the Islamic Ramadan calendar vary across the province. However, these calendars can be provided upon request. That we therefore resolve, Honourable Speaker, that the MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs engage with municipalities across the province with a view to amending their load shedding schedules during the month of Ramadan to ensure that the morning and evening time slots are blocked out to accommodate observers in preparing for the start and the end of their fast in this holy month. I so move.
Honorable members, I put the motion without notice for adoption by the House. Agreed? Agreed. Reject? Thank you. Honorable Tebekana.
Is it on? Oh, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House firstly observe that the Department of Social Development in the Eastern Cape has made significant progress in providing comprehensive social security net to the most vulnerable and needy in the province. Secondly, acknowledge that the department continues to support child-headed households and families at risk through its family preservation program. Third, that the anti-poverty interventions plays a vital role in the alleviation to the plight of the communities in distress, particularly in the 39 poorest wards in the province. Fourth, almost note that the support provided by the province to examiners, which has seen scores of them being compensated for occupational diseases. Fifth, acknowledge that comprehensive social security grants play a pivotal role in tackling poverty and inequality. Six, further acknowledges that the mooted Inspectorate for Social Assistance must play a critical role in the prevention of fraud and corruption in social grant system. Seventh, recognizes that development on social welfare services are key in protecting vulnerable children through the provision of childcare and protection services. Eighth, further recognizes that the implementation of community-based prevention and early intervention guidelines and services are critical for GBVF hotspots. Therefore, that the House resolves that the Department of Social Development intensifies its efforts to ensure that all potential beneficiaries who have not yet applied for Social Security are well informed and assisted by the nearest SASSA officers. I thank you, Chair. I so move.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. I put the motion without notice for adoption. Agreed? Any rejection? No. Thank you. We now move to Honorable Camilo Benjamin. Sorry.
Good day, Honorable Speaker, and to the House. Honorable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House, 1, note the current state of the Langkloof Senior Secondary School in Miskund, Langkloof, Kokama. 2, acknowledges that this school
Honorable, my apologies, Honorable Camilo Benjamin, can you just speak with a louder voice? You are not audible.
Thank you. Is that better? Acknowledges that this school was established to curb the Eastern Cape farm communities having to send their children across the border to the Western Cape for high school education, and that the Transport Department alleged that the department would not be able to transport across border anymore. 3, understand that this school had in 2024 398 students with 119 matriculants, of which 102 failed. Such failure can be attributed to the lack of teachers. 4, further notes that this year of 2025 there is 357 students with 70 matriculants. 5, understand that there is currently supposed to be 10 teachers at the school, although the PPN is 12. 6, Wednesday, 24th February 2025, only 6 teachers were present at the school, with the result that students roam around the school without any supervision. 7, recognize that 5 of the current staff complement will be moved on Monday to different schools, hoping that the needed complement of the teaching staff will be appointed to the school. 8, acknowledges that the Department of Education is aware of the current state of affairs of the school and takes responsibility for the situation, and the necessary steps towards finding a long-lasting solution in order to ensure that there are enough teachers in Langkloof Secondary School. Currently, the school has no Afrikaans qualified teachers, only one maths teacher, one math literacy teacher for 10 classes, 4 grade 10s, 4 grade 11s, and 2 grade 12s. Has no business study teacher, has no life science teacher, has no agriculture science teacher, has no maths teacher, and has no life orientation teacher. Therefore, I move that this House resolves: 1, action must be instituted against teaching staff that is part of that school who is absent from school for long periods without any justifiable cause. 2, that the Education Department ensure that the recruitment of teachers that are required is attended to with diligence and appointments are made. 3, that the process be closely monitored to ensure that this situation does not repeat itself as we move forward in this academic year. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I put the motion without notice for adoption. Agreed? Any rejection? Thank you. Honourable Mhlaba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The EFF rises to move a motion with notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules of the House, that this House notes the utter disgust of the gross mismanagement of funds in the Chris Hani District Municipality, where 658 million has been spent on the Xhonkxa Dam, yet the people of Komani remain without water. This dam, now full, has nothing to elevate the water crisis. Instead, it stands as yet another monument to corruption and government failure, while households, schools, and healthcare facilities struggle without this most basic necessity. Xhonkxa Dam was meant to provide water security for Komani and surrounding areas, yet it has become a textbook case of wasteful and fruitless expenditure. The project was plagued by delays, mismanagement, and overpricing, hallmarks of a municipality notorious of corruption and inflated costs. To this day, the dam is not connected to the town's water system, rendering it completely useless, while residents, schools, and health facilities are forced to struggle for water. Despite costing 657 million to construct, it is said that the Xhonkxa Dam near Komani only provided water for 6 months, the period between December 2020 and May 2021. The 658 million is not a monopoly money. It is taxpayers' money that has been squandered while our people suffer. This is the same municipality responsible for the infamous Inokum Gijima Stadium scandal, another unresolved case of public funds disappearing into thin air. Therefore, we move that this House resolves that, number 1, the Premier and the MEC of Kokta must immediately account for the 657 million that was spent, explaining why the dam is not operational. Number 2, a full forensic audit must be conducted into the financial mismanagement of the Xhonkxa Dam project, including contracts awarded and price inflations. Number 3, if this is found to be wasteful and fruitless expenditure, those responsible must face criminal charges and be held personally liable for the financial loss. Number 4, the provincial government must present a clear plan within 30 days on how the Xhonkxa Dam will be made operational to end the water crisis in Komani. Lastly, the people of Chris Hani have been robbed of their right to water. This House must not allow this injustice to stand. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Mhlaba. We note the notice of motion, and it will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 1. My apology. We note the notice of motion, and this motion will be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133(1). May I just request the political parties that when we do receive notices of motions or motions without notice, please ensure that the name of the honorable member is attached, and the signature? And can we also understand that a motion without notice is in terms of Rule 131? A motion without notice will be in terms of Rule 130, so that we continuously have to look and scrutinize and make that distinction. Thank you so much, honorable members. We now move to member statements, and the first one up is the Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Makashela. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you, the Premier, and the members of the Executive, and the members of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature. Honorable Speaker, we note the overall decline in incidences of rape, murder, sexual offenses, car hijacking, and robberies when compared to the same period in the previous financial year, 2023-2024 financial year. Inasmuch as we welcome these encouraging developments, we call on the law enforcement agencies and the citizens to remain vigilant so that we may prevent regression on the progress made. We also note the reduction of stock theft cases by 4.5%, as stock theft at times often results into the loss of lives. As stated in his speech, increase in cases of assault with the intent to cause grievous bodily harm remains a source of great concern to us as the African National Congress. We call on our communities to respect the values of human rights as enshrined in the Constitution and resolve their disputes through peaceful means. Gangsterism and gang-related violence is a matter that requires a focused attention by law enforcement agencies with the intention of dealing it a final blow, as it has mushroomed into extortion kingpins that are holding South Africa for ransom. We call on the taxi industry to stop contributing to the rise of crime statistics through their unrelenting taxi violence that has now become an annual ritual with many citizens caught in the crossfire. We further call on the department to be ruthless in dealing with drug lords and peddlers, as drug abuse is often the #1 source of the rise in crime statistics. The recruitment of 5,500 new personnel in various police academies throughout the country is most welcome and should add further impetus in our quest to eradicate crime and violence in our towns and villages. We fully support the department's intentions to utilize technology, strengthen crime intelligence, capacitate detective services, improve its forensic capabilities, and the overall work environment in which police officers ply their trade. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Makashela. Honorable King.
South Africa has placed the right to sufficient water as a constitutional right in its Bill of Rights. This places a legal obligation on the government to ensure that all people living in South Africa has the right to sufficient water. Sadly, the enjoyment of this basic human right is glaringly absent for the people of Inokingijima municipality. Honorable Speaker, I thus rise to address the ongoing challenges relating to the Konka Dam water augmentation project, a matter of significant concern for the people of Inokingijima and the broader Chris Hani district. This project, which dates back to the 4th term of the Eastern Cape Legislature, have seen leadership transitions from the then MEC of Kokta, Kobosiane, in 2012, the MEC Kasa in the 5th term, MEC Ngata in the 6th term, and currently under the leadership of MEC Williams. Despite the passage of 4 legislative terms, the project has been subjected to delays and underperformance with little tangible progress to show for the substantial investment. Over the course of these 4 terms, the Konka Dam water augmentation has cost taxpayers a staggering 657,633,506 rand, an amount that could have otherwise funded construction of 2,520 BNG houses. Yet, after 13 years, the Chris Hani District Municipality continues to fail in ensuring the operationalization of the Conca Dam, leading to a prolonged water crisis that has plagued the residents of the region. It is critical to acknowledge that this is a man-made crisis. The absence of rational, long-term water security plans have left communities vulnerable, resulting in a water supply that is neither reliable nor sustainable. The residents of Enoch and Gijima deserve far better than to stand in long queues fighting for water from water tankers and for businesses to close down, relegating their employees to the ranks of unemployment. Time is of the essence, and the Conca Dam water augmentation project must be given the utmost priority. MEC Williams, I therefore suggest appoint a reliable contractor to urgently repair and operate the Conca Dam pump station. Increase the raw water supply for Waterdown Dam to 24 megaliters per day. Negotiate appropriate water use license terms for the Waterdown Dam to ensure sustainable supply. Revamp the water treatment works to enhance data collection and improve efficient management and distribution of water. Repair and replace the pipeline for Waterdown Dam to Komani as a matter of urgency. Utilize the Bongolo Dam solely as a reserve and not as a cost-saving measure. MEC William, we require a firm commitment that by the end of March, as promised by the Chris Hani District Municipality, the people of Enoch and Gijima, the Conca Dam will be operational and deliver the water to the communities of Enoch and Gijima. The people of Enoch and Gijima can no longer accept excuses of climate change, while the Chris Hani District Municipality allows precious water resources to go to waste. Lives and livelihoods are at stake, and the time for action is now.
Thank you so much, Honorable King. Honorable Kotoi.
Honorable Speaker, in the Daily Dispatch edition of 24 February 2025, it was reported that the Commission for Gender Equality had conducted an investigation which revealed that some schools in the provinces of Eastern Cape, Limpopo, and KwaZulu-Natal were involved in practices which resulted abanye abantwana pregnant being forced to drop out of school. These practices included the following: being stigmatized, being forced to be escorted by parents when going to school. The consequences of these practices was that some learners ended up dropping out of school. Interventions done by the department in place to ensure that pregnant learners are not subjected to being stigmatized. To what extent are the schools in the province adhering to the departmental policies and interventions put in place by the department to ensure that pregnant learners are not being discriminated against? In view of the fact that the right to basic education is a constitutional right, are there any cash-up programs that the schools have in place to ensure that pregnant learners do not lose out on learning? Ingaba i-department izakwenza i-follow-ups on the finding of the Commission for Gender Equality and make sure that where there is evidence of schools subjecting pregnant learners to some bullying and stigmatization, there will be consequence management. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kotoi. Honorable Premier, you have got 15 minutes to start. You can allocate to the respective MECs within the 15 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Ngata will deal with the issues of crime raised by Chief Whip. Honorable Williams will deal with the issue of water and Enochum Gijima. Honorable Gade in absentia will later deal with the issue that relates on the school infrastructure. Therefore, we'll be able to submit that and be ready for something else to start there.
Speaker, greetings to you, Honorable Premier. and
Can
Mrs.
I just ask, is there perhaps something wrong with the mics, or is it my ears that I'm having a problem of hearing members when they speak into the mics? I see other members are also nodding. Can you please lift up the volume? And can those who have shop steward's voice, it's not my voice, can they just speak up? There are those who possess shop steward voices. Thank you.
Amandla. Thank you, Honorable Premier, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you, the Premier, MECs, Honorable Members, the DG, HODs, and distinguished guests. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip, through you, Honorable Speaker. We fully support and share the concern. And from the side of government is that the safety of our citizens is non-negotiable. And our people have got a right to feel safe in their homes, in their streets, in their villages. That is why we're taking steps to leave no stone unturned. And as I stand here, I have no fear of contradiction to say that our fight against crime is gaining momentum. And it is far from the truth of those who claim that SAPS is losing the war against crime. We are winning, and there is evidence to do that. And recently in Ndabakazi, we have permanently detained those who have terrorized people of Mhlaba and Cape Town. We have got evidence of others who have permanently detained. We have got evidence of many which we have arrested. All we can appeal to, Honorable Speaker, is for us to mobilize society against crime. And the fight is gaining momentum, and we are strengthening the intelligence capacity, which is critical. The Minister, Minister Senzo Mchunu, is seized with this task. We see it as urgent more than anything, because we must increase our capacity to prevent some of these incidents, so that the criminals can be arrested before they commit these criminal acts. The extortion is a matter that we're working on. Again, the extortion line is being used by the people. They provide us with information, we are able to act. As to the conduct of the taxi industry, we are attending to that one. That serious incident in Dujwa last week, where taxi people there were ill-treating people, conducting roadblocks. We have got the registration. That gentleman is appearing into the committee on Friday to face to respond whether the permit is not suspended or withdrawn, because the authority of permits is with the MEC for transport. And I am determined that those who conduct those kind of criminal activities using their vehicles will withdraw their permits. We are tired of talking the same thing, that they have no authority to exercise powers they do not have, to hold roadblocks and demand money. It's no different to extortion when they demand such money to people. So we are acting now, we are acting strongly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Williams.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, members of the Executive, the members of the House. Yes, Honorable Speaker, the water crisis in Enoch Mgijima is well understood. And what we are currently doing there, Honorable Speaker, is to implement water rationing. And we are also currently drilling boreholes to augment the water supply in Enoch Mgijima. On the Kongla Dam, Honorable Speaker, before the Kongla Dam, the Bonkolo Dam, unfortunately, is below obstruction currently, so we can't have any water from that dam. We are looking at various alternatives, but when you come to Kongla Dam, I will not confirm much as the date for the water to come out of Xonxa Dam, because the engineers have indicated to me that the water could be expected in April of this year. So we're working hard with the Department of Water Affairs to ensure that that happens within this year. All the other alternatives and suggestions, we're taking them. We're going to work on them because the interest is to ensure that water comes out of the taps to ensure the people of Enoch Mgijima get quality water services. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Williams. Noting that the Premier has indicated the absence of the MEC Gade with respect to the schools, and that response will be given at a later stage in that respect. Honorable members, that concludes the member statements. I will therefore now ask the Secretary to read the first subject matter for discussion.
A reply by the Premier to the discussion of the state of the address by the Premier of the Province of the Eastern Cape.
We call upon the Honorable Premier for his reply to the SOPA debate. I have 1 hour here, Honorable Premier. You may use less.
Honorable Speaker, I will disappoint so many today. Thank you very much. Greetings to you, Honorable Speaker, and members of the Executive Council, Honorable Deputy Speaker, members of this august House, DG, HODs, and other government officials, our distinguished guests in the public gallery, good afternoon. Honorable Speaker, last year I moved a motion in this House that those who debate must come back. If they don't, we must deduct their salaries. So I'm so happy to see that fighters are back today. In the State of the Province address, Honorable Speaker, we made a clarion call for all of us to reconnect with values of Ubuntu. It seems as if that call resonated very well with members of this House. It was heartening to hear members of this House expressing their empathy for families who have lost loved ones in tragic incidents recently, particularly to the families of the 2 learners who died in Guzahil local municipality after they were swept away trying to cross the river. Indeed, honorable members, Inamandla Notabisa had their whole lives ahead of them and were dedicated learners who had big dreams for their future and their families. It is tragic that their lives were cut short on their way to acquiring knowledge at school in pursuit of a better life. As a parent myself, I understand the devastation that their parents are going through, and I would urge us not to politicize further their passing due to the tragic incident that happened. May their souls rest in eternal peace. It boggles my mind when I see members of this House acting as if they do not see progress on the 19 Welisizwe bridges we are constructing with SANDAF and Public Works to avert the very same situation that claimed the lives of Inamandla noThabisa. In case honorable members did not hear well during the SOPA, to date, 12 of the 19 Welisizwe bridges have been completed, and the remainder of that 19 is at 70% progress. Of the 12 completed bridges to be handed over to our communities, 9 bridges are located within the Owar Tambo district, particularly within the Port St. John's and Lusikisiki catchment area. In the new financial year, we will finalize the remaining and commence with the construction of 17 additional bridges in Amatole, Buffalo City, of us. Let me, on behalf of the provincial government, also convey our heartfelt condolences to the Goja family, who became the latest victims of gun-related violence in our province when 3 women were gunned down 6 days ago in the same community of Lusikisiki. Umlingi Agapezi El-Siksi. We've been in that community since 2018, so many times as 3 spheres of government to address the issues of violent crimes against women, but it continues to rear its ugly head. Giving up the fight against crime is not an option. Working with the people of Lusikisiki, we will prevail over crime. Asilale buhlayo somlomo, yinto yokusweleka kwabantwana bethu esuthwini. The foundational issues about initiation or circumcision or ulwaluko still remains with the families, not government. Iqala kwibhunga lekhaya into yokusa umntwana esuthwini. Ayonto evele kuvukwe yenziwe kulandelwa inkqubo ezininzi ngamadoda ekhaya zokuqinisekisa ukuba umntwana ukulungele ukuya esuthwini. Men must not abdicate their responsibility of ensuring that boys go to the mountain alive and come back alive. We acknowledge the gesture extended to students of Forte and Walter Sisulu University who came and watched the debate yesterday. And babon namhlanje. Abantwana naba disappointed because if fighters couldn't say a thing about the situation ye-SRCs ezikhokelayo pha abantwana abakhokelwa ngabo uqhusarha kweza university. I hope they learned a lot yesterday, even though the commissar was very battling in this podium to convince. I'm not sure whether they really heard the commissar message properly. But Commissar, I'm here to assist you better so that those kids can understand that they are our kids. They are just lost to be where they are for now. Honorable Speaker, we spent 6 hours here yesterday debating the state of the province address. I commend you for affording us an opportunity to hear as many voices as possible on the debate. We welcome constructive criticism and forgive ignorance displayed by some members who debated in this House. Ndiyaphinda ke wayenyanisile okamqhayi xa wayesithi abakrokrayo bona abazange baphela, abakhalazayo basazalwa nanamhla oku, abazenzi badaliwe kuloo nto. We are encouraged by these words as we continue our work of building a thriving Eastern Cape at this moment in history when the momentum is on our side. During the tabling of the State of the Province address last week, we started by focusing on the economy because it is the apex priority to give us the jobs that our people yearn for. However, today we will start our reply with addressing the issues of crime because it is an antithesis for economic development and job creation. We stand on the side of the law-abiding citizens and the police as this government. Yes, the statistics are reflecting a negative picture in terms of sexual offenses and murder, which is a serious concern. However, all of us must be on board to change that picture. Last year, we signed a cooperation agreement with various stakeholders in Gqeberha, which calls for combining resources to combat crime. That is why the National Intervention Unity is permanent in our province to deal with gangs and organized crimes. So some are permanently detained, as MEC Ngata said, because we are hard at work to wipe criminals out of our street and remove criminals completely in our society. I said criminals belong in jail, not where our people are, in case they want to have their quicker way to our Creator, then they know how to fast track that one. The message the police are sending is very clear. The message the police are sending is very clear. The Eastern Cape asiyondawo yokugezela. Ndiyayazi ukugeza ngesiZulu kukuhlamba. Okanye i-Eastern Cape asiyondawo yokuphambanela. If you doubt what I'm telling you, ask the thugs who opened fire on police last week in Butterworth, who are now currently permanently detained. As a result of the cooperation agreement we signed last year, we are now able to use this video cameras and off-business premises to solve crime. We are combining our efforts with private security firms to hit criminals from all angles. Be on the lookout for the use of technology such as drones in hotspots areas of Nelson Mandela Metro, Mthatha, and Buffalo City as we push to gain an upper hand on crime. Community support is paramount to win the fight against crime. The cases that police solved in areas such as Lusikisiki, Qumbu, Ngobo, Katyane, and other areas were partly because the people of those communities came forward with the information. That is why we are promoting community-led crime-fighting initiatives than a top-down approach. We launched a special task team to deal with extortion incidents with a dedicated anonymous hotline. More than 2,000 calls were logged, and many of the reported cases were resolved with perpetrators brought to book. This team is also dealing with cases of kidnapping, and they are making arrests of those who are involved in such acts, particularly in Mthatha, Kariega, as well as in King Williamstown. And I'm quite happy, and I congratulate police, particularly Hawks, on being clinical here, on being meticulous, that those who are abducted, they are able to be brought back home and be reconnected with their families alive. That's a very, very good job that our police are doing. Some of us were not sleeping every time we get these reports. We speak to the the high command of police every day, every morning, getting reports up until we get these kids, even the elders that are hijacked business people. We will not allow criminals to rule our streets and our communities. As I'm speaking with you, honorable members, we are reintroducing an MOU with Lesotho for detection and prevention of stock theft, which affects people of Owari Tambo, Joe Gabi, and Alfred Nzo. As we speak, Paya, Joe Gabi, amapolisa enze breakthrough Paya. Actually, we're doing it almost weekly. Apho sikwazi uconfiscate khona imfuyo yabantu ebiweyo nehluthiweyo abantu bakwazi nje uyibuyiselwa. Honorable MEC Nqatha nje into endifuna namapolisa siyilungise ekhalazelwa ngabantu base Mount Frere nabakoqumbu okanye Mount Frere into yoba xa bethinjelwe izinto zabo zithathwa emaseleni zithathwa ziyovalelwa embizana. So kufunwe ukuba mabayozithatha pha. Ewe amapolisa ayazenza inzame ozibuyisa ngeetrakhi zawo, kodwa funeka ngoku sibe nazo eza compound areas kuthiwa zintoni ezanto iskate pounding, yeah, iskate. Sifuna ezaa zikiti zibe kufutshane ebantwini because abanye abantu abanayo nemali yozikhulula into zabo xa zithinjiweyo. Funeka umntu akwazi ke ukuhamba ayozifumanela kufutshane. We are recruiting community safety brigades and training them to enhance crime prevention and police visibility. We are establishing and capacitating village committees to combat stock theft, drugs, and gangsterism. Members of this House should join this initiative in their constituencies and communities to contribute towards combating crime than just being armchair critics. Ndiyavuya ke Honorable Ngcobo into yoba unxibe laa uniform ndidla ngoyibona apha eKapa. Umuntu osekwi-combat siyamthatha simbeke ngaphambili ke sijonge uba xa ukwi-firing line laa combat ayayazi na intsingiselo yayo. Andiyazi yena bumenzeni Honorable Bukade kodwa ke hayi andinofela isimoko sakhe. Honorable Dr. Gnuse, do you understand the saying that says amehlo awaphakelani? It means we do not see things the same way. While you claim to be disappointed by what we said in the State of the Province address, many citizens of this province could relate. I suspect you might have seen it, you didn't hear it. So surely if you have heard what we have said, you would have also seen a lot of things that we are talking about in that. We're not telling things in abstract. We're telling concrete things that you experience every day as you move between Qonce and Gqeberha and between Qonce and East London. Usonobhudiswa ngala magama ke ngoko Gqeberha nokungazazi buphi. Isekwayile ndawo uqhela uba kuyo your East London as well as your King Williamstown. So ndilinena ndizunenza nto namhlanje ndifakele utayi. Ndifuna nje uba nje ukulungisa kwindawo ezithini. But honorable members, Dr. Nutsi, let me share with you their comments. Andile Mkosana of Lulawe Holdings wrote, the 2.4 million jobs by 2030 is possible, and we are ready to play our part. That's from business. Seasoned journalist at the Herald newspaper, Nomazima Nkosi, wrote, the 2025 SOPA was far better than previous year's one. Even our international partners were happy, and they said, and I quote, inspiring and successful SOPA, Mr. Premier. That's how Mr. Chang Antang, Deputy Consul General of China, described it. From these comments and many, it seems, my dear Honorable Dr. Gnutse, you are the one who's really out of touch with what is happening in the Eastern Cape and how the people of this province feel. Please make up before you are left behind. Honorable members of the opposition, you must listen to understand. You must listen to understand. And not just to respond when we deliver State of the Province address. You see, as the ANC-led government, we are the ones who told the people of this province that we are concerned by municipalities that are dysfunctional, that are unable to provide quality services to communities. There are 14 of these municipalities, and we are all working on them. Many of them are already advancing, your OR Tambos and others, where they are being turned around into what we would want to see. We are heightening our coordination of support to local government by focusing on municipal audit outcomes, good governance, and basic services, conditional grants expenditure, municipal debt, and disaster mitigation and responses. MSc Williams will come here during the policy speech and give you much better. So please listen when MSc Williams speak. You will get something out of that. Doubt our intervention at your peril. We'll meet you at the polls in 2026. One of the areas we are supporting municipalities on is spending grant funds for water reticulation and communities. Honorable members of the DA, you have convenient amnesia. When your forefathers led this country under the apartheid, access to water was largely based on race, with us black people in rural areas having no access to piped water. Most of us in this house can tell you stories about our upbringing with no access to piped water under the apartheid. Hence, the ANC-led government has dedicated resources on this matter. Asuzibane champion ezinini zabumini, instant champions on these matters. We know very well where do we want to take this country to, and we're on track to address that issue. Today we talked of 80% of households with access to piped water, and by 2030, we're saying more than 90% of households will have access to piped water. I guarantee you that. I say so because most of our bulk water infrastructure projects will be online by then, and Ndabelanga Dam will be an iconic asset on the Tsitsa River, pumping water to millions of our people in OR Tambo, Jogabi, as well as Alfred Nzo. Honorable Williams, unixelele into okokuba le ngxaki nithetha ngayo yaseXhonkxa neNtontoni, amanzi azawube phuma phaya ngo-April ile nyanga izayo, because we are dealing with that matter and attending to it. Doubt us at your peril. Eastern Cape time to thrive is now. Let me address remarks on health and education. Honorable Kaul. At least there are honorable members who are honest enough to appreciate the good work we are doing in education and health. But I understand the members of DA and their attitude on those two sectors. If it were up to them, they would commercialize education and health and milk millions of rands from the poor, not in our name as the ANC-led government. Others are holding on for dear life to the old narrative of schools infrastructure, even when they have seen us building 100 new schools with amenities in the past 5 years in the deep rural areas of our province. I repeat, in the next 5 years, we are going to build and refurbish 138 schools across the Eastern Cape. For your information, 96 of those schools are classified as inappropriate, that is mud structures, timber and asbestos. E.T. Tabane Primary School in Jogabi is one of them, as well as Louis Rex in Christiani, West. For new schools, we'll be building such as Tsitsikama High School in Sarabatman and agricultural school called VN Mkosana Senior Secondary School. What we are going to do now, Honorable, I'll tell Honorable Kade when he's here, every member of this house must be given a chance to go and open a school. All of us here, the schools that we are building, you can go and open, as long as you are not going to wear the red things we are making. I'm going to traumatize our people with this. But every member here must be given a chance to go and open a school. I think that's how Thomas was born. We are realigning 37 schools such as Vulingwa Senior Secondary School in Amatole East. The funding for this work will come from the Education Infrastructure Grant, a CD equitable share, and the budget facility for infrastructure, which are vigorously pursuing through Infrastructure South Africa and the Office of the Premier. Somlomo ayahamba amaqhawe kusala izibongo. Umkile uProfessor Mkhuseli Mashiyi umaduna omhle onike abantu basezilalini inkonzo zempilo ebezingafiki kubo ngexesha lengcinezelo. He left us a legacy of the Hirolim Hospital in Mthatha, a 270 million investment that employs 50 healthcare workers and saves lives of our people. May his soul rest in peace. When everybody was saying Mthatha is a crime hotspot, people were closing their shops, closing their private practices, Dr. Mkhuseli Mashiyi invested 270 million to open a 76 state-of-the-art hospital. Please go adjacent to St. John's College and go and see that hospital yourselves. So you will see, I went there to officially open that school. That hospital. Honorable Speaker, we spoke at length about health care, ranging from the work we did in the past years to rehabilitate and refurbish infrastructure, to the work we will be doing in the next 5 years to deliver better health facilities in our communities. I announced in this House that we are investing a further 3 billion over the next 5 years for the construction of new clinics and rehabilitation of existing health facilities across the province. Benilele namalungu emibutho ephikisa ngoba ndisitsho. Singathethi nanga ndaba nisethongo apha. I will personally be in Greenville, as I've been there, to extinguish fire from the community, when the MEC will be handing over the site to the contractor who will overhaul that hospital. The people of that area must not worry about the road. We will fix it because it is leading to a health facility. I want to re-emphasize that we were honest with our diagnosis of challenges in health in the State of the Province address. But it seems honorable members missed that because they are obsessed with putting the department under administration. I want to tell the members of this House who harbor such intentions that not under our watch. The Department of Health will not be put under administration for things that we are solving. We are working together with National, all hands on the deck, to make sure that that department works normally, as we did during COVID. We introduced a hub and spoke service delivery model, which turned around things in that department in an amazing manner. And I've been telling MEC as well as HOD that I still want that hub and spoke service delivery model that we did to make sure that we are able to be efficient and very smart in actually servicing our people. My program, when ufuna nje hug when the Director General and the Health Intervention team are already at it. In no time, the challenges of filling the critical vacant Vacancies, medical legal claims, historical debt in the department, poor audit outcomes, and service delivery challenges will be thing of the past. Doubt us at your peril. Honorable Speaker, let me now address the economy. Even though it was clear as daylight what we said on it. Yes, our economic outlook is gloomy. So is the global economy, because we have the Trumps and his ilk behaving like children suffering from tantrums, playing with people's livelihood. We are confident that BRICS plus countries and other progressive nations can and will overcome the current challenges posed by Trump mania and provide lasting solutions to the challenges of the global economy. Let me inform the House that we were the first province to host G20 workshop in the country. When we hosted the successful G20 labor workshop in Gqeberha. Let me ask members of the opposition this question. Did you know that from the implementation of the 2023 investment declaration have already accrued 80,400 jobs? That is how confident we are in that in the next 5 years we'll surpass the 200 billion baseline of investment and accrue hundreds of thousands of jobs to be created with our private partners. The 54,500 jobs we highlighted in the State of the Province address will accrue because of public investment across various economic sectors. And those are going to be funded by the fiscus. They must not confuse you, honorable members. The economic enablers were outlined, such as skills development, energy, roads, oil and gas, will contribute meaningfully to unlocking our 5 growth frontiers of agriculture, manufacturing, oceans economy, digital economy, and tourism. We spoke at length about skills development we are doing with SITAs. Members of the opposition benches did not hear us clearly. Well, they are going to hear this time, whether they like it or not. Tomorrow, the Minister of Employment and Labor will be in Mthatha to launch a 900 million program to stimulate job creation. Tomorrow, that launches tomorrow. You can go this direction and go and witness yourself. See. This program will benefit thousands of young people in our province. To strengthen our efforts to promote investment in the province, we launched the Eastern Cape Economic Development Fund to catalyze private sector investment. Following an initial injection of 130 million, we have created over 1,400 jobs thus far. Financial institutions such as ABSA have already agreed to establish a 200 million funding scheme in partnership with the fund. This vote of confidence further affirms our decision to invest and catapult this multi-year economic development fund to 1 billion over the next 5 years to enable investment in all our growth frontiers. We will continue to fund youth-owned enterprises with the 168 million budget, and this will benefit more than 300 youth-owned businesses. I repeat, the agriculture remains our niche growth frontier to accelerate growth, employment, and food security. The story of the mentorship between Mr. Vincent Mhlonichwa, a maize farmer in Elliot, and the late Mr. Christian Kruger, a young farmer who sadly passed away in 2015, is an inspiration account of black and white farmers working together to grow agricultural sector. Abantsundu nabamhlophe mababulele kunye. Therefore, if black and white farmers work together, we will and we can massify primary production, agro-processing, beneficiation, and develop value-added products in the Eastern Cape to create jobs for local people. We are fortunate in that logistics should not be a problem to move produce to markets, as we have air transport, rail, and ports to do that. All I'm calling for is collaboration across racial lines to improve agricultural output in our province. Let's combine indigenous knowledge, experience, research, and innovation to create a thriving agricultural sector that can employ thousands and thousands of our people. Forte Vet School is in the bag. I was happy that the fighter acknowledged that we said it here, that we are going to deliver the vet school at Forte. That vet school is now in the bag. Honorable Madixen. At least you can clap. We are steaming ahead with setting it up. Many doubting Thomases thought that we were daydreaming when we said we want Forte to be the South Africa's second vet school. I repeat, doubt us at your peril. Oh. Honorable members, the 5 growth frontiers we presented to you are an indication of our plans to diversify our provincial economy. Yes, the auto sector is the anchor, but we are building other avenues, diversifying from the auto sector, as well as on the manufacturing front. Beyond that, look out for 2 to 3 new OEMs in our province, because we are relentless in their pursuit. So I was called by the CEO of Mercedes-Benz yesterday, informing me that have we observed? And I said, no, we didn't observe. We are bringing them. That the Asian market interest encroaching this space. What we are very much happy with is that even the current OEMs are keen on that the bi-modal production lines. You would understand what used to happen at Daimler Chrysler, where they will produce Mercedes and all that in the same. So we are going back there, because we've got to get all these together. We are nicely putting together the BYD, the biggest that we met when we were in China, that is employed in China about 180,000 people in their factory. 100 of those are engineers just working in the R&D in that factory. So we're negotiating with those big companies to get them here. He said, last year about 7, your Cherry Group, your Beijing and others, said 6 are now starting to pack their way here. And also, Mike, the CEO of NAMSA, was indicating the same thing, because he's part of the Premier's Investment Council. So they were presenting to me a few days ago on that particular front. So we are working, we are not sleeping. The water license application has been approved by the Department of Water and Sanitation. This means it's all systems go for the rollout of more bulk infrastructure at Wild Coast SZ. You must always seek the truth from facts on Alpematic. You need to have a scientific look in order to understand and see other things. There we are working. We're going to turn that area of airport into something that you have never seen in your life. On the oceans economy, we want to see transformation and beneficiation of our marine resources inside this province. No step is a small step in this journey, hence the 10 million investment to support small-scale fishers to grow them in this term. I take note of what you have raised, Honorable Dr. Agnudze, that this challenge of abalone is a very important thing that we've got to put our eyes on and put it under a microscopic view and address it. Honorable members should not take lightly the additional 10 million pro-blue funding because it opens new avenues on seaweed, abalone, and fishing farming. The crucial infrastructure of small harbors such as Hamburg and Bizana small harbors and Port St. John's will be a game changer for fishing in our province. Thus, we are excited about their development. All this part of our Oceans Economy Master Plan implementation. We've been updating the members of this House about progress on the rollout of the broadband every year for the past 5 years. This project is continuing, and we are also focusing on ensuring uptake by departments and municipalities. This is necessary to boost household access to internet in the Eastern Cape from 65% to 80% by 2030. I cringed yesterday when I heard members of this House saying our tourism is declining. I asked myself where they got that information because the numbers of tourists increase since COVID-19 have been there. In 2019, we had 1.9 million domestic trips per annum to our province. By end of 2023, we were at an average of 6.7 million domestic trips. Doubt us at your peril. We're fixing binding constraints, Honorable Madikizela, at AXA. And AXA is an agency of South African government. It was not formed by GNU. It was not formed, you see. These are inheritance of this so-called GNU. These are things that are part of our broader vision that we've been working on. It has a responsibility to invest in all airports in the country. This is us and them, or this us and them you are raising of AXA and Sandral does not fly. See, I know when you go to campaign, that's why you're confusing few people to vote for you. It's not an ANC government. This thing. You see? Sandral is an agent of government that was formed by this government of the ANC. GNU I still want to see one project that has been done by GNU government. All projects that I'm talking about that are being done are projects that are flowing from 610. Even those who are marching around, watching, moving, and trying to open up, they're opening up projects that they are clueless about. They just happen to be ministers because there's a GNU. Hey. Usenzile lo 40%. Yazi nosibona sesiganqeleke kuni njengolu hlobo. Yar. Ubani? Ama Kenzo right. Ngathi. Wena uzulunga wena. Senedaba elinzima kwelicala into zotolo. Noxolo nomntungu ndimnandi ndisekude ndisekude kwi-value chain. We're fixing, Honorable Speaker. So this ignorance is not going to help you. Just understand. These are SOEs to develop and run the infrastructure of government. I won't repeat what I said on sports tourism because it is clear members of the opposition were sleeping on duty. Again, I'm making a call to municipalities to ensure that sports facilities are adequately and regularly maintained to support sports development and recreation for our children. Minister Gayton McKinsey yena ngumuntu wethu lo funeka sisebenze naye akunjalo. MEC. Yeah. So uba ke khondoni ngenye ningandifaki. I'm making a call that all of us we stand up and try to rise to the occasion. We are saddened by the passing of 2 young boys who drowned while swimming in a dam in Owartambo. Abantwana bakwaMhlaba. This is why we need swimming pools built in our communities to create safe environment for our children. And Minister Gayton McKinsey has committed a lot around swimming pools. Yanga imiphefumlo yaba bafana bancinci ingaphumla nayo ngoxolo. I'm shocked that none of the honorable members acknowledge the importance of the creative arts industry, with 30 million allocated to fund emerging artists and film development in our province. Nizibonile imbongi zami ezintathu apha zisitsho la mina. You see. That talent is an endowment of the Eastern Cape. It's natural. You won't easily find it in any other province. We pay homage to legendary South African music, Umama Usutukazi Ahosi, who died following a long battle with cancer. She made an immense contribution to the South African music scene with songs such as Wemdo Mnyama, Vuke Maqandeni. Wemdo Mnyama. Honorable Speaker, let me close this debate. Let me close this debate by what we are doing on building, enabling infrastructure. The ambitious project of Mhlaba Manganese Export Terminal, the liquefied natural gas import terminal, and deepening and widening of Port of East London will come to life in this term, and ZILAP will make sure. Because you all know that the relocation of those manganese tanks in the old Port Elizabeth side or Gqeberha port will open up. The business has been knocking. 15 billion investment for waterfront in Gqeberha. That is possible. It will be done. So with Transnet, that's why we said since December, we have met 3 times with Transnet to see to it that these projects are actually delivered. We need the support of opposition parties. But we want them to be patriots, to unlock oil and gas resources for benefit of our province. Ndiyayazi ke into bayithe spend ipha kula masipala waseKorhokuni. Asingakuleni menithethe emva naphambili xa sithetha ngale nto. Thethani nge-thin spend nevakalayo. Please, stand on our side against greenies who do not care about plight of unemployment in our province. The Gauteng Eastern Cape high capacity rail corridor will enhance our export capacity and reduce reliance on road transport. We are talking to PRASA to fix railway lines, to provide reliable passenger train, to reduce cost of living that is affecting people who are using public transport. They've given me a plan, a detail. They're working on their engineering and technology because of the old infrastructure that they currently having. Somlomo amalungu alendlu emibutho ephikisayo azovuma ethanda engathanda ukuba indlela zeliphondo ziphucuke gqithi. All economic corridors of our province are construction sites such as N2, N6, N9 and N10. Doubt us at your peril. I don't know, asongqama ndezapho. La ndlela uthetha ngayo yaseMbongweni. That road of Mbongweni we're talking about here from R61 will be done up to Umthendo interchange. Izakwenziwa ngoku le term la ndlela. Pha koweni awuyazi naloo nto uhamba nje pha. Hayi. Le yakulowini Mandela bumisa ngayo apha. Awuyazi. Buza mna ecaleni yePremier ithini le nto ndizokuxelela. Ungazohlazeka apha eParliament. Bypasses in Gcuwa and Dutywa are in a detailed design and construction. Will begin very soon, probably by next year. Abantu bakhalile xa bekuvalwe indlela pha ngobe sidetainer aba bafana besibadetainer pha eGcuwa ngoba ivale ixesha elide la ndlela. So la bypass is a second phase of what we are doing in that Ndabakazi interchange. Nina sawuniphilisa nawe uyekumisa ngeKapa Western Cape nizawumisa ngale nto efana nimisa ngayo. We are going to gazette more roads to be handed over to SANRAL so that our roads can be constructed efficiently. SANRAL is an agency that is established by our government, ANC government, to do roads in South Africa. Through the Department of Transport, in the last term, we upgraded the following roads: Willow Valley to Dwesa, Tsentane to Xologa, R72 Hamburg, Coffee Bay to Zitulele Hospital, Tanzibe Hospital Road, Hluleka Nature Reserve, Phase 2, N2 to Supeti Hospital, paving of Kumbu to Tsilito. Uyazazi zonto? Earlier this year, we handed over the construction to the Clarkbury Road, N2, and in the near future, we will be implementing Phase 3 of the Willowvale to Dwesa project and the Middelburg Integrated Traffic Control Center. Honorable Speaker, we're strengthening the public sector transformation agenda. We've developed the 9 integration programs to improve efficiency, accountability, equity, and responsiveness in serving our people. I can safely say we have a solid system of government that is the vehicle for the realization for the provincial midterm development plan. We appreciate our collaboration with the National Council of Provinces and members of this House to improve citizen participation in resolving their service delivery concern. Let us continue in that fashion to build a thriving Eastern Cape. Again, our unity is our strength. Ubunye sisixhobo sayimpumelelo. Lubambiswano olumqhele umnye. Abakwenzayo bakwenza kunye. Ezinzima bona bayathwalisana. Ezixakayo kuzo bayancedisana. Mazenetho.
Thank you to the Honorable Premier. Thank you. That concludes, honorable members, that concludes the reply to the SOPA debate by the Honorable Premier. And it also concludes the business of the day. Please note that the House will adjourn until Tuesday, the 25th of March at 10 a.m. for the tabling of the Appropriation Bill 2025 here in the Raymond Mhlaba chamber. You are all invited to a light lunch in the lobby. As it has been brought to my attention that some members left their water behind and would like to conclude their waters. Honorable Fishlane, you left a bottle of your water behind. But we would also like to take this opportunity to thank once again MTN as a sponsor, having been one of our sponsors for our State of the Province address, who also last night treated the honorable members to that lovely cocktail dinner that was served. Honorable members, the House is adjourned until we meet again. Thank you.